Nestled along the northeastern coast of China, Tianjin is one of the country's 4 municipalities directly governed by the central government, sharing this elite status with Beijing, Shanghai, and Chongqing. This distinction places Tianjin under the direct oversight of the central government, bypassing the authority of provincial administrations. Tianjin's strategic position makes it a natural candidate for greatness. The city has been earmarked as a future hub for research and development, a key player in international logistics, a testing ground for financial innovation, and a model for reforms promoting regional integration in the Beijing-Tianjin-Hebei corridor. Yet, despite these lofty ambitions, Tianjin's economic growth has lagged behind its peers. Corruption scandals have tainted its leadership, and the city has earned an unflattering moniker, the Dead City. In 2007, Tianjin was home to one of China's most talked-about land deals. Shining Star, a prominent developer, spent a staggering 6.29 billion yuan, equivalent to about $826 million at the time, on the roughly 3 million square meters of prime land. Their vision? To create the world, a sprawling residential complex that would offer residents the feeling of traveling across continents and oceans without ever leaving home. It was an ambitious project, capturing the imagination of many, but the grand promises of Shining Star soon crumbled under the weight of reality. In Tianjin's Jinan district, where the world was supposed to stand as a testament to modern living, only skeletal structures remain. The site, surrounded by industrial zones and distant from the city's bustling core, is now a haunting spectacle of unrealized dreams. Towering apartment blocks, some as tall as 30 stories, sit abandoned without roofs. Your similar tale of unfulfilled ambition. On the city's outskirts stands Golden Finance 117, a 597-meter-tall skyscraper once heralded as a pinnacle of modern luxury. With 128 floors and a distinctive diamond-shaped atrium crowning its peak, the building was designed to house an extravagant hotel, high-end commercial spaces, and what would have been the world's highest observation deck. Yet, instead of becoming a symbol of progress, Golden Finance 117 has become an emblem of failure. Construction was halted in 2018, leaving the towering structure incomplete and deserted. The skyscraper, which was meant to redefine Tianjin's skyline, now looms as a hollow shell, a stark reminder of misplaced priorities and overambition. Golden Finance 117 was only one part of a larger, ambitious plan known as Golden Metropolitan, an elite business and residential district that was set to span an impressive 1.8 square kilometers. Designed to cater to the ultra-wealthy, the area promised European-style villas, a wine museum, and even a polo club to cement its exclusivity. However, the dream began to unravel when its developer, Pat Sutong, faced severe financial difficulties. Construction ground to a halt, leaving the towering skyscraper unfinished, and the grand vision for Golden Metropolitan little more than a memory. Now dubbed the Ghost Scraper, this once promising landmark has become a symbol of abandoned ambition. Its towering frame, nearly 600 meters tall, remains unoccupied and lifeless, a striking reminder of the risks associated with unchecked urban development. The failure of Golden Finance 117 sent shockwaves through China's construction and real estate sectors, prompting the government to impose stricter regulations. By 2020, a ban was introduced on building skyscrapers taller than 500 meters, a move signaling to developers that grandiosity without careful planning is no longer an option. Despite being one of China's municipalities directly under central government control, Tianjin's economy has long struggled to find its footing. Unlike its neighbor Beijing, which dominates the region with its political and economic clout, Tianjin lacks a defining flagship industry capable of sustaining long-term growth. Historically, foreign investment played a crucial role in Tianjin's economy, with Samsung once serving as its largest international partner. However, since 2015, Samsung has gradually pulled back its operations from China, dealing a significant blow to the city's economic stability. Adding to the strain, Tianjin's once thriving automotive industry has seen a sharp decline. Once a leader in domestic car manufacturing, local brands like Xiaoli have faded into obscurity. Today, the city's automotive output is modest, relying mainly on production from international brands like Toyota and Volkswagen. With an annual output of approximately 700,000 to 800,000 units, Tianjin's contribution pales in comparison to China's total national production, which exceeds 20 million vehicles each year. This economic stagnation highlights the challenges Tianjin faces in carving out a competitive and sustainable role within China's rapidly evolving economy. Tianjin's manufacturing sector has faced a steep decline over the years, with one glimmer of hope emerging in 2018. The rise in electric bicycle production and battery manufacturing for the booming food delivery industry. While this sector provided a lifeline, helping the city recover slightly by 2022 with an output of 152.3 billion yuan, it is far from a sustainable solution for a metropolis with millions of residents. The electric bicycle market is highly competitive, and the food delivery industry's growth is limited. By 2023, production of electric bicycles in Tianjin had already dropped by 12.7% in the first 8 months, with industry profits falling by 5.5%. This over-reliance on a single, volatile industry underscores Tianjin's broader economic challenges. The city lacks the robust industrial foundation necessary to drive long-term growth, and the struggles of its manufacturing sector have had ripple effects across the economy. Tianjin's faltering industrial base has also made it difficult to retain its population. Unlike Beijing, which has actively pushed out low-income residents to manage urban density, Tianjin has taken a more inclusive approach, seeking to attract newcomers. It even became the first second-tier city in China to relax residency restrictions in an effort to boost its appeal. Unfortunately, this strategy has yielded little success. The city's unstable population and weakened industrial sector have further eroded investment confidence. In 2022, Tianjin's fixed asset investments plummeted by 9.9%. By September 2023, the situation had worsened, with a staggering 20.8% decline, the sharpest drop among all Chinese cities. This alarming trend has forced the local government to impose drastic budget cuts. Starting in 2020, civil servants faced salary reductions of up to 20%. By 2022, these cuts extended to most administrative units. The financial strain deepened in 2023 when the government slashed housing allowances for civil servants, with plans to eliminate them entirely in the near future. These austerity measures, while necessary to stabilize the budget, have further dampened morale and strained the city's public services. Tianjin has been shaken by a series of high-profile corruption scandals and mafia-style criminal activities, exposing deep-rooted issues within the city's governance. Reports from the Tianjin City Discipline Inspection Commission, TCDI, reveal investigations into 17 corruption cases involving 4 directors of the city's public security branch. One of the most prominent figures implicated was Liu Zirong, the former director of the Beichin District Public Security Bureau. Liu stands accused of accepting bribes from Yan Jin, the leader of a notorious criminal gang operating in Tianjin. Allegedly, Liu provided protection for Yan's organization, shielding it from legal consequences. Yan's gang was notorious for its involvement in violent brawls, robberies, and extortion schemes that plagued the city. The case drew significant public attention, particularly after authorities launched a crackdown in 2018, arresting 112 suspects linked to the gang's activities. This was not the first time Tianjin's public security leadership faced scrutiny. In 2017, Wu Chengshun, a former director of the city's Public Security Bureau, was sentenced to a suspended death penalty for extensive corruption. Wu's crimes included accepting bribes, abusing his power, and fostering connections with criminal elements. The TCDI reported that to date, 97 cases involving mafia-style gangs and corruption in Tianjin have led to charges against 229 individuals. Among them, 84 were accused of aiding gangs in evading justice, while 107 were charged with dereliction of duty. Tianjin's problems with corruption extended beyond law enforcement to its highest offices. Huang Xingguo, a former mayor and interim party official of Tianjin, became another symbol of the city's struggles with integrity. Huang was sentenced to 12 years in prison after being found guilty of accepting over 40 million yuan in bribes during his tenure between 1994 and 2016. Huang's crimes were tied to his misuse of power, which he exploited to grant favors involving land use approvals and employee promotions. In addition to his prison term, Huang was fined 3 million yuan and ordered to return all illicitly obtained funds. His downfall marked one of the most significant corruption cases in Tianjin's recent history, highlighting the far-reaching consequences of unchecked power and greed. While corruption scandals may be common, let's dive into a case involving money laundering through Bitcoin. In March 2023, a woman named Wen Jian appeared in Southwark Crown Court in London, facing 13 charges related to money laundering using Bitcoin. The amount of Bitcoin involved was a staggering 61,000 coins, which based on the market value as of May 27, 2024, was equivalent to 72,246 20s per coin, totaling a whopping $4.29 billion. Looking back, in September 2017, Wen Jian came across a job opening for a bilingual assistant on the WeChat app. The position required her to act as a translator and manage daily tasks. Feeling confident in her abilities, Wen Jian applied and was accepted after a single interview. The job offered a salary of £4,000 per month. Her boss, Zhang Yadi, claimed to be the owner of a jewelry company in China with a branch in the UK. Soon after starting the job, Wen Jian was instructed to rent a luxury house in an elite London neighborhood, costing £17,000 per month. She was also given a Mercedes-Benz, branded handbags, and expensive watches as gifts. However, Wen Jian began to feel something was off when her boss often asked her to do suspicious things, like buying fake documents and opening bank accounts with forged bills. She was even instructed to travel to Thailand to retrieve an encrypted laptop, which Zhang claimed contained Bitcoin mined through illegal activities. By early 2018, Zhang instructed Wen Jian to purchase a property worth $23.5 million, with Wen Jian listed as the owner. Although she was suspicious, Zhang always reassured her that everything was legal. Her doubts grew when the property lawyer, Livin, requested proof of the source of funds. The only evidence Wen Jian could provide was a Bitcoin address, which was eventually reported to Detective Ryan. In October 2018, Wen Jian's bank accounts were frozen, and her house was raided by the police. Detective Ryan's investigation revealed that Zhang had been using Wen Jian as a puppet to cover up his illegal transactions. Despite Wen Jian's claim that she was merely following orders, her deep involvement in the operation made it impossible for her to escape legal consequences. This scandal became one of the largest money laundering cases involving cryptocurrency in the UK. Meanwhile, Tianjin was shaken by a devastating explosion at the Tianjin port. The incident occurred at a warehouse storing hazardous chemicals, including sodium cyanide, a substance known for its extreme toxicity. The warehouse was operated by Ruihai Logistics, a company specializing in the handling and storage of dangerous chemicals. Initial investigations revealed that the warehouse contained over 700 tons of sodium cyanide, along with other chemicals like calcium carbide, ammonium nitrate, and potassium nitrate, all of which have the potential to explode or trigger dangerous chemical reactions. On August 12, 2015, two massive explosions occurred, with such force that they caused widespread destruction in the surrounding area, including the destruction of buildings, vehicles, and port infrastructure. The cause was suspected to be failures in chemical storage procedures or inadequate storage conditions. The explosion had severe environmental impacts, particularly contaminating water in the vicinity. Thousands of tons of contaminated water pooled at the explosion site, which required immediate treatment to prevent further spread, especially with the risk of rainfall worsening the situation. Bao Jingling, the chief engineer of the Tianjin Environmental Protection Bureau, stated that the crater created by the explosion contained tens of thousands of tons of polluted water that needed to be drained to avoid overflow. At the time, 114 people were confirmed dead, with another 57 still missing. Although much of the 700 tons of sodium cyanide stored in the warehouse remained intact, approximately 150 to 160 tons of cyanide were secured from within a 3-kilometer radius of the blast site.